Welcome back, everybody. Crossing New Leaf. I just want to preface today's episode by saying, listen, I get it. I went from playing a wide variety of stuff over the years to kind of just playing Pokemon, Animal Crossing, or whatever else. It feels like easy work, and that's because it is. It's something that I haven't really talked about for a while, and it's something I felt like we needed to address the elephant in the room. Right now, in my own personal life, my biggest thing has been shifting over from nights to days, and just like with what do you call it? Why, brain? Why? Jet lag. Just like with jet lag, there's some heavy jet lag happening with me. You know, I've spent so many years of my life being up all night, sleeping all day, and maintaining that kind of schedule. It's taken its toll on me, and it's taken some time to roll that back around and be used to being up during the day. So, you guys will have to forgive me if it seems like we're taking the easy route for a bit, because I, have a lot to do, and some days I'm just struggling to be awake. But that also minimalizes our playthrough of Animal Crossing and makes it feel like it may be not up to snuff with other games. No, we're still here, we're still streaming, we're still playing a game. Everything's all good. Kind of figured you were going to be the pitfall seed. I've noticed I find the pitfall seeds first every day. But Animal Crossing is pretty great. It's one of my favorite franchises. So I feel like people should be along for the ride. And then you get, you have instances like we had yesterday where chat comes in and they're pretty active, and I get to talking and I get to rolling, and then before you know it, it's been 2 hours of me just talking. So you never know which me you're gonna get. You never know if you're gonna get the talkative Eric or the half asleep Eric. But I tell you, I'm feeling it today. But that's okay. We are going to do our Animal Crossing, and then later this evening on into tonight, if I'm not dead, we're gonna come back and do another stream. I have decided that I want to finish all ongoing games before the end of the year. So we got to snap too. Of course, some games have no ending, like Animal Crossing here. So that one will kind of be left open-ended until we decide to say, okay, we've had enough. My eyes are watering from all the yawning. Ah. There we go. Now I can finish picking up the coin. Belly, 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 Isabella, Isabella. I just want to throw a little shindig. You're all very welcome. Seeing as how I funded the whole thing. Started to use my keyboard again. You got fleas, my dude. Boom, ba, ba, boom, ba, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, ba, ba. Let's start a new project today. What do we have? Bridge. Bench. The bench is pretty cheap. Well, fountain is pretty cool. Fountain is... It's funny how these are all less expensive than the bridge. Let's do campsite. See, we need a big open area. I just need you to move. That's what I need. I'm thinking right over here. Son of a bitch. Isabel, you're in my way, dear. That's a permanent rock. Another permanent rock. And we have a little pond here. So... we could do it next to the pond, maybe. How about right here? Yeah, this is a good spot. Hello, little feller. We almost had enough to cover it all in one go. Funny thing is, we probably will be able to knock it out in one more payment. Just need to make sure we have all our fossils. And hopefully it doesn't stop raining anytime soon, because we could try fishing again today. We could probably make a killing off the cicada alone, but priorities. The museum is our priority. I do need to do something with all these flowers that are getting out of control. Oh, snap. Thank you so much. Got Prime subscription up in the house. Very unexpected, but much appreciated. That may be all the fossils. To the museum. It's going. A little slow, but it's going. Had a very busy day yesterday. I went to see my Jurassic World movie, and I loved it. I thought it was great. And today, I don't really have much going on. You know, just doing my streaming stuff. I'd like to get some yard work done later this evening, like maybe closer to sunset, but so it's not during the heat of the day. I gotta mentally prepare myself for that headache. But I like doing it. I like getting out there and doing stuff in the yard. Probably have to go get me a Monster Energy drink first. Yeah, what they did is they brought back David Cope. He is the screenwriter who, you know, wrote the screenplay for Jurassic Park and the Lost World, and it very much feels like a Jurassic Park movie. It does not have any, like it almost ignores the Jurassic World trilogy, if I'm being completely honest. And yeah, they did use a lot of the material from the books that hadn't been used yet. Most significantly, the river scene, which was amazing. So yeah, there are a lot of people who probably won't see it just because it has the world name attached to it, and they're like, ugh, not another sequel, or what they call legacy sequel. See, that's what's going to hurt the movie. There's a lot of people are going to think it's just another one of those terrible Jurassic World movies, but no, it's like, you know, Jurassic Park is my favorite IP, and I try to defend it as jealously I can't speak. I try to defend it the best I can. And I liked Fallen Kingdom. I really did. I thought it was the best out of the three. Jurassic World itself was okay-ish. We don't talk about Dominion. We don't talk about that third movie. But no, it's You could honestly go in and sit down and watch it and just pretend that the other 3 world movies don't even exist. And that's kind of how I've been selling it to people lately. You know, it's read the first book. I did. I read it a long time ago. I could stand to read it again. I never did finish the Lost World novel, though. I would like to go back and do that one day when I'm not being lazy. My problem is the ADHD. It's hard for me to read because my mind will wander after I've been reading for like 5 minutes, and then I'll be on the same page for 2 days. I have a real bad problem on that. Yeah, the books are pretty great too. So looks like we do have extra fossils that we can sell today. Hooray! All right, so we have 2 extra fossils. That's what I used to try to do. I used back before I got a better phone and Bluetooth earbuds. I tried to listen to audiobooks or music at work, but I had the wired earbuds and they would always finger wag and say, "Oh, you're not supposed to have earbuds in," and I'm like, I'm so bored. But it's work. It's their say, so what can you do, you know? Of course, I worked second shift a lot back in the day, so it's and then I've done a lot of third shifts, so when the big wigs go home in the afternoon, got a lot of free time to listen to stuff. And that was my like assembly line job. I don't mean to make it sound like I was some sort of like slacker ignoring his job. No, I stood on an assembly line for 8 to 16 hours a day, so I had time. And that's like perfect what am I doing, Eric? Focus. It's perfect like earbud time to listen to stuff. That was my podcast era where I'd listen to podcasts and listen to like people stream on YouTube and stuff. Yeah, they had poor, where I used to work had poor employee retention rates, and of course they made that our problem. So a lot of it wasn't mandatory. You could just volunteer for it. It's not like they were like, you know, they weren't that way about it. It's just they always had people coming and going, and they couldn't keep people, and then they'd be shortchanged, and they'd be like, "Hey, you want to work another shift?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, sure. Screw it. I'm young. I got all these Monster Energy drinks." I won't do that anymore. I'm getting older. I turned 40 now. Like, my birthday's in September. I'll be 41, and just, I don't have it in me to do that kind of thing anymore. Of course, I just kind of been, I'll be honest with you, I haven't really worked since pre-COVID era. It's kind of been sitting here eating money. Living with family, being a bum. No, I kid though, but my health took a pretty bad turn during the COVID era, and I just haven't gotten back out into the world. I haven't. I do nothing now. I do this. This doesn't pay, but I do it. All right, what was I gonna do next? Oh yeah, we can pay off the campsite now. I will eventually have to get back to it and find something worth a damn, but I kind of live in a kind of a bad area where there's not a lot of job opportunities here. We have a Walmart and fast food and little else. And that's depressing as hell. No offense to people who work those jobs. It's just, you get it. Yay! I don't think I've ever set up a town project and paid it off in the same day before. Well, hot damn. How much money do we have left over? 11K. No, I kind of fell through the cracks when I was in school. I went to public school all the way up to middle school, but my mom didn't really want me to like go to public high school because things were bad here where I live. And they pulled me out and put me in like a private Christian school. And that was not even an education, it was negative an education. They had those stupid fucking Christian Science books that are basically just propaganda. And I eventually just dropped out, which is a big regret of mine, honestly, but like I kind of got fuckered on that. So no, when I joined the workforce, I had to go in as kind of like a uneducated blue collar worker, you know. My first job was actually like, I worked at this, it was like a gas station slash souvenir shop slash restaurant. So I was a janitor there. That was my first job when I was 18. I joined the workforce, got my driver's license, drove myself back and forth to work every day. And then over the years, I played around with different jobs. I tried retail. I didn't really care much for retail. That was, I don't do so well with people. And obviously that eventually landed me, you know, working in a factory job where I didn't have to deal with like customers coming in and out. So it's been a rocky road. I did spend a handful of years trying to get my trying to get on disability. I got a bad back, not to mention the plethora of mental illnesses, the depression, the anxiety, all the other stuff. Now, what's funny is I've got a long medical record to prove all of that, but the government was just like, yeah, no, we don't want to pay, so get bent. You know what I mean? I'll have to struggle bug it for the rest of my life, but it is what it is. I feel like if I lived in another country, though, I'd probably fare a lot better. I mean, I've never really had a high opinion of the United States, but in the last decade, it's gone to hell. Probably one of the worst places you can live now. Yeah, I'm in the US, unfortunately. I hate it here. We got the virtual boy yesterday. You gave me the same prize 2 days in a row, little man. Oh, I would that I could, trust me. No, I don't want to sell. Oh, I keep spamming A. They just talk so much. You just parasol. Half the time, I'm tempted to lie and tell people I'm in Canada. Because telling people where I actually live is really embarrassing. Trying to think what I should build now that we have one bridge and the campsite. I mean, yeah, I can move to any state. Like, you don't need a passport. You can move freely in and out of any area in the United States. It's just a matter of money. And it's a matter of, like, no matter where you go. See, inside the United States, it's kind of the same, more or less, everywhere you go, because the federal government is the problem. Some states are more terrible than others. You've got your redneck states like Texas. And of course, see, I live in Alabama, which is a redneck state. You know, it's not great. Like, and that's the thing that sucks. Like, the United States has some beautiful, like, natural features as far as nature's concerned. Amazing wildlife. It's really pretty here, but the problem is the people, the government, yada yada. You know, it's like, I love the weather that we have here. I do. We actually have all 4 seasons where I live. We don't get a lot of snow during the winter, so we don't have a lot of travel issues. It gets hot in the summer, but it doesn't get like Nevada desert levels of hot. It's nice. I mean, I like where I live on a geological scale. I just don't like the people. Of course, I will say this. This might come across a certain way and I might offend people, but obviously outside of North Korea, because it's North Korea, I don't think I would want to live in Australia because of the dangerous wildlife. And the Middle East is out. I am not a fan of the Middle East whatsoever. And it strictly has to do with their human rights violations. And I'll just leave that at that and won't say much else. But no, Europe is definitely fantastic. I would like to visit Russia if their government weren't such a dick. I feel the same way about China. I feel like China would be a lovely place to visit. I feel like it's probably a very lovely place to live, but their government's ass. So you really kind of run the risk, you know. No, unfortunately, that's the other thing. I have been stuck here my whole life. I've not had the opportunity to travel, you know. Which, of course, you know, comes with no education and no money and no savings. You don't get to world travel. I would like to. My best friend and his wife are thinking about taking a trip in a few years to Iceland, because originally they went to Iceland to get married, and they're thinking about going back for their anniversary, and they're thinking about taking some people with them and making like a group trip out of it. And that would really be great if I could do that, because I've been to other states inside the United States, but I've never left the country, and I really want to see something else, you know. But I gotta save every penny I can for that. Right now I'm a little Target screwed me on the Switch too. I pre-ordered a Switch through Target, and then I canceled it because it was going to take 2 weeks to get here, and I needed it sooner than that for streaming. and I just bought one locally at Walmart the day they came out. I was fortunate enough to find a store that had them in stock. Target shipped it anyway and charged my card. And now they're claiming that they didn't charge my card, even though it clearly... I got to dispute it with the bank, and it's a whole thing, so... Right now, not only do I not have money, I have negative money. Yeah, they fuckered me good. But I'm hoping all that... I got a call on the 5th. The 5th of every month is when my billing cycle starts over, and if it doesn't like drop off in their records and clear itself up, I'll have to spend a whole day on the phone making calls and fighting that. But, I'm having a brain fart moment. Focus, Eric. What are you doing? Okay, we paid off the town thingy. I need to put some of this stuff in my house. Right now, one of my bigger struggles, one of my biggest struggles in life right now is I've always been like a night timer, you know, a late night owl. I've always slept through the day and I've been up nights, and I'm trying to switch that over. So I'm spent the last few months being up during the day and trying to get used to that. And I tell you, I'm not quite used to it yet. It's like having permanent jet lag. It's rough, but I'm working on it. You know, it's definitely causing hella brain fog and a lot of brain fart moments where I'm just like, my brain will just pack up and go on vacation while I'm in the middle of doing something. And since I already have the problem with the ADHD, that does it they clash, and I have a lot of brain fog, but I'm hoping that clears up when I get used to being up days, you know. I should have never really, honestly, I should have never let myself let it get that far out of control. Hey, what's up? Let's see. I don't know if you guys are familiar. I never owned one of these. Remember the Virtual Boy Nintendo put out? It was this little red, it was like the Oculus before the Oculus was the thing. It wasn't great. It was all red, kind of like the Terminator's field of view. Oh, it gave you the worst headaches. I never had one. Let's go plant this sapling. Yeah, for whatever reason, this town spawned, this save file does not have a lot of trees. So it's something that we got to slowly work our way towards, you know, planting a ton of trees. Although that may be by design. I'm not sure. I can't remember my first save file on this game. It's been so many years ago. But that may very well be by design to try to get you to plant more trees. I don't know. I don't remember. I did spend like almost 2 hours last night fishing in the rain trying to find the coelacanth. Maybe today things might be a little different. Yeah. I got my start in the late 80s playing the NES, and I just kind of been a Nintendo fanboy ever since. I don't take it to the nth degree like some people do. Like there's a handful of Nintendo franchises I don't really care about. Like I never played Pikmin, although I intend to try it out. I don't really like Splatoon. I didn't play Zelda until Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. And I don't really do, I don't play the original old school Zeldas that well. I suck at NES games and SNES games. I am not that good at them whatsoever. Favorite games? Well, it depends on which context, because over the years, some of the games that have stood out the most to me would have been Metroid, obviously. The 2D Metroids as well as Metroid Prime series. I think Metroid Prime is still my favorite game of all time. It's tying in first place with Portal. Portal and Metroid Prime are kind of duking it out for who wins my favorite game. I want to say it's still going to be Metroid Prime, with Portal being a very close half second. Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to Metroid Prime 4. I'm dying to get my hands on that. When I was a kid, I was really into Mario. Super Mario World is my favorite 2D Mario game. Mario 64 still stands as my favorite 3D Mario game. I was super into the Donkey Kong Country series. Loved those games so much. During the 64 era, I was really into stuff like Mario Kart, Diddy Kong Racing, GoldenEye, that kind of thing. I never really got into a lot of the do-bro games. I didn't really play a lot of shooters. I really just didn't go down that road. I took, you know, the more cutesy path of playing stuff like Animal Crossing and whatnot. But around 2009, I started trying to branch out and play PC games. So that's when I started, you know, my Steam account, started playing stuff like the Orange Box and playing Portal and Left 4 Dead and stuff like that. And that's about as far as I ever went with shooters. I never really got into the Call of Duties and the Halos and stuff. I did eventually play through the Halo games with the Master Chief Collection with my buddy, but I didn't really care for him all that much. But Nintendo's really kind of been dropping the ball lately too. Like I try not to be a brand loyalist like some people are. I like Nintendo. I love the IPs that they own, but their business practices have gotten really shady lately. Their litigious nature has always been kind of like a point of contention for me, but they've ramped it up to the nth degree lately, and they're just suing everybody for everything, and I don't like that. And I also don't like the fact that the Switch 2 costs $600. Not to mention, I think chat was telling me last night, it's Brazil, I believe, has filed kind of like a lawsuit against Nintendo over the fact that they could just brick your Switch 2 now anytime they please. Yeah, that's kind of it. That's shady, man. That's... Nah, I can't get on board with that. Don't you miss the days, Buzz, depending on how old you are, I guess, but I miss the days where technology wasn't always connected to the internet. Nobody's bricking my VCR. It could do that on its own. Those things were bad about doing that on their own. But I was a little disappointed with Mario Kart World. I ended up having more complaints with Mario Kart World than I did like praises for it. I'm kind of hoping that Pokemon cleans itself up and looks a little better and runs a little better. Game Freak, in my opinion, they've never really been one to make games well outside of like the chibi setting. Game Freak did an amazing job up until about the 3DS era, and then they kind of started to tank a little bit. But yeah, I'm an old man. I remember, you know, I'm at that point where I'm like, I remember when you could just buy a game. Yeah, I'm that old now. So I do. I remember going and buying a game and not having to download DLC or worry about day one patches and none of that. None of that. None of that. None of that nonsense. But I'm trying to... Yeah, see, that's the thing, too. I thought Power World would shake them up. But they seem very... Crap, what you want? Tiger beetle. The hell is a tiger beetle? Yeah, I was kind of hoping Power World would kind of make them shape up or ship out, but I don't think it phased them whatsoever. I played a little bit of Power World. It's okay. I would play it if I had people to play with. Playing it by myself, I kind of got a little bored with it after an hour or two. I think that lawsuit that Nintendo brought on them was stupid. But I also, see, here's my conundrum. There is a connection. I know this, a lot of people are not going to like this. There is a connection between, and I don't know about other animals, but in the human brain, there's a connection between anger, lower levels of intelligence. And I can attest to this. As someone who's not exactly the sharpest tool in the shed, I can tell you I get mad pretty easy at the most ridiculous, stupid stuff that I shouldn't be getting mad at. It's a problem. I tend to be that, you know, and I worked on it many, many years of my life to not be that obnoxious, loudmouth American. You know, I try real hard not to be that piece of shit. But I am a rageaholic. I see something, and it's like Captain Hindsight from South Park. I'm like, well, they should have done this, or they should have done that. Why didn't they do this? Why didn't, and it enrages me when people don't do what they're supposed to do. And you know, and there's like a million YouTube channels already of just like neckbeards ranting about their superhero movies and whatever the fuck else. And I try my hardest to avoid being that guy, but sometimes I tell you, it ain't easy. It isn't easy because there's so much to rant about, I promise you. Last night I was playing this game and chat was like, you know, you hate everything. I was like, I know. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to be more positive. I'm trying to look on the bright side and find the good in everything, but it's hard as shit. It's really hard these days. But, I have high hopes for the Switch 2 in the long run. It's kind of got a shaky start, you know. The price point isn't helping. Of course, Captain Jackass and his tariffs aren't helping. It's all just a big fat mess. It's all a big fat mess. I would say Pokemon Legends ZA is a prime example of that. Like, I'm trying to remain positive and upbeat, you know, about, I'm trying to remain positive and upbeat about the new Pokemon game that's coming out. But the more I learn about it, the more I'm just like, ugh, that's certainly a choice you make, Game Freak. We'll see, though. I'll try to reserve any negative opinions until we have the game in hand and we're playing it. But I tell you this too. That $80 price tag, that's a deal breaker for me. Like I'm not paying $70 and $80 for video games. I not only do I not want to, I can't. I don't have that kind of money. Are you kidding me? And they're going to fuck themselves over by doing that. Like, I understand the economy's in the toilet. Not just here at home, but globally. Everybody's struggling. Everybody's having a hard time. COVID fucked us all. Some more than others because we had a dumbass fascist leader at the time. But his days are numbered. And if somebody doesn't come in and clean up his mess, we are all screwed. And see, the Steam Deck is great. Now, I do love the Steam Deck. Unfortunately, as a streamer, I don't have need for a Steam Deck. It would just be like for my own benefit. Like if I were going to spend the money right now, I kind of need to spend the money on a PC, which again, in hindsight, it probably would have been smarter to use the Switch 2 money on getting a new PC than the Switch 2, because I feel like all I've done is bought an expensive Pokemon machine. Because that's what my DS and 3DS ended up being, was just a Pokemon machine. I did play a lot of Monster Hunter and Smash Brothers with my friends, but ultimately, I think I played more Pokemon than anything on the 3DS. But yeah, the Steam Deck is great. I can't recommend them enough to everybody. I've been telling people, wait on the Switch 2. Don't buy one right now unless you just, like, if you're a streamer and you need to stream, like, especially if you're a streamer for a job, like if it's your job is streaming or whatever, get one and do what you got to do. But for casual people who don't need one, don't buy one yet. Wait until the price comes down. Wait until they do something about the terrible battery life. I woke up today, and like I do every day, I check the news on Blue Sky. I don't look at... I knew it was going to be a tire. First thing I saw on Blue Sky today, people's switches are overheating. Maybe wait for a new model or something to come out. Because it's, I just leave it at that. Hey, look at that. Ooh, that's not a cicada. Cicada. Gotcha. No, I played New Leaf back when it first came out. I actually have... I had a playthrough of this game on my channel before, and I lost the save file, so we were kind of forced to start over. There's my fishing rod, man. I do like Animal Crossing, though. I like it a lot. It's one of my happy places. Well, I love New Horizons. Yeah, over on my YouTube channel, I got a ton of different playthroughs. I think we spent, what, 2 or 3 years playing New Horizons until we just run out of stuff to do. So I was like, you know what, we'll try New Leaf on stream and see how that works out. Because I debated whether I should do Wild World or New Leaf. Wild World is great, but New Leaf looked a little bit cleaner, so I decided to go with New Leaf. Yeah, everything I do on Twitch goes over to the YouTube channel too. Because YouTube is actually my main, like, that's where I started. And then I decided to stream on Twitch because that seemed like that's where everybody was on Twitch. Now everybody's on TikTok, and I'm just like, I'm good. I'm going to stay right here. Y'all have fun. A little let me down by it. I was a little apprehensive at first over the items breaking. I wasn't a fan of like the crafting aspects. I was like, what is this, Minecraft? But it turned out not to be as bad as I thought it was going to be. The thing with Nintendo, and this is both a positive and a negative, this is something that works in their favor but also doesn't. Their games don't change much. You know what I mean? Every Animal Crossing makes baby steps forward. The same is pretty much for all their franchises. Whatever gimmick their console is pushing at the time gets integrated into the game, except for the Switch. You're not the first person I've heard say that. I haven't really noticed it too much myself. Let's see. We'll see though. We'll see what happens. Right now, Nintendo's got a branching path in front of them. They can make a brand new Animal Crossing for the Switch 2, or they can put the GameCube Animal Crossing up on the Switch Online. I'm gonna be honest with you. It would really tickle my fancy if we got the GameCube Animal Crossing back. Because you could still play New Horizons on the Switch too. And that was something my buddy and I were discussing over Smash Brothers. Like, are we going to see a brand new Smash Brothers? Or are they just going to port over Ultimate with some new DLC characters or something? We have an answer to that now. They are definitely making a brand new Smash Brothers. But we didn't know at first. It was definitely something we talked about, you know. But Sakurai pulled a Hollywood. He used a tactic that's known as one for them, one for me. It's something they do in Hollywood where a director will make a cookie cutter movie for a studio, and then the studio kind of gives them a blank check to make a passion project or an art film. You know, give us our big, stupid Hollywood blockbuster, summer blockbuster Marvel movie, and then you can go off in the corner after we make our billions and you can make your little artsy fartsy movie. That's how the studios view it in their head, you know. And that's what's happening. Sakurai was like, if you let me make a new Kirby Air Ride game, I'll make a new Smash Brothers for you. So now we're actually going to get a game that he's poured his heart and soul into, and it's a little less cynical than, like, say, Smash Brothers Ultimate would be. Not that there's anything wrong with Smash Brothers Ultimate. It's a fine game. It's just not the series at its best. That roster is kind of terrible. A lot of characters that don't belong. I will say this for Mario Kart World, though, I do applaud Nintendo for dialing it back a little bit, because Mario Kart roster was it was very much in danger of turning into a Smash Brothers roster. But we've added the Inklings and the Animal Crossing characters and the Zelda characters. Who else can we just toss in there? They dialed it back, and I applaud them for that. Just keeping it Mario characters was a really smart move. Really smart move. Now they need to do that with Smash Brothers. Maybe we don't include 47 Fire Emblem characters. Maybe we don't include characters that have zero to do with Nintendo. I don't know. Sora for one, Cloud, Sephiroth. Fucking characters that just don't fucking belong whatsoever in a Smash Brothers game. Maybe we don't put them in there next time. Maybe you actually add characters that matter. They do. I have to give them credit. They got Banjo and Kazooie. What sort of animal do you think would make a good pet? This anthropomorphic koala bear is asking me if he should get a koala bear as a pet. That was a very uncomfortable interaction. Come on, little silicant. We need you. I wish there was a way for me to get up to the other beach, not having to go around this way. Aw. Oh, big fish. Come on, little guy. The fish in this game are so fussy. I'm sad now. Ooh. Why? Last night all over again. Well, at least we made a hell of a lot of money today. Ooh. The little fish are easy to catch. The bigger they are, the more fussy they are. Oh, yeah. Mr. UPS man. You've got to be delivering to a neighbor because I'm not expecting anything. Oh, come on, man. I guess it really doesn't show up until after 4 p.m. I guess that one person at one time that said that was right. We've been doing all this fishing down here and it's only like 2 p.m. for me. Well, I gotta stop streaming this game so early in the day. You'd think I'd learn my lesson, but I don't. Well, caught a lot of fish and we made a lot of money. So I think there's that. I ranted like a buffoon for an hour and a half last night and I did it again today. Yeah, again, bear with me. I am trying. It is not easy to change years and years of habit overnight. It's taken some work on my part to curve what I say and I'm trying. Yeah, I used to be way worse than I am now. I used to be extremely negative. Very negative Nancy. And, you know, I definitely am much better today than I was back in the day with it, but it's still pretty bad. In my defense, there's a lot of shitty stuff in the world happening. But, you know, it's like I said before, I dialed it back, got off a bunch of the different social media platforms, and now I'm just on Blue Sky over there. And yeah, I got my YouTube and my Twitch and Instagram and all that, but that's just for me to post. As far as like Twitter, when Twitter became Nazi occupied, I deleted that account immediately. Now I'm just using Blue Sky, and I only follow gaming news. I don't follow anything else. I got a muted word list a mile long on Blue Sky, so I only hear about gaming news, and it helps. It's helping me learn to curtail what I say and my thought patterns and my behaviors. But you know, it's a gamble when you're on the internet as a content creator because you can't please everybody. And eventually you're going to say something that pisses somebody off and they're just going to kind of take flight and unsubscribe or whatever. It happens. Like I said, you're not going to agree with somebody 100% of the time. You just kind of got to do your best, you know. And that's what I've been doing. Yeah, I think what I'd like to do is, despite me being live so early today and streaming this game at this time, I think we're going to stick to streaming this game later in the evenings. That way we can catch the tarantula and the scorpion and work on some of the evening bugs. Not to mention the silicon. The most exclusive and rare and hard to get fish of them all. Can only be obtained during rain and snow. What? You got fleas? You do have fleas. Tiger beetle. Where do I get a tiger beetle from? Tiger beetle. Isn't that one of the tree stump bugs? I don't know if we can catch a tree stump bug in the rain. I don't think they're gonna spawn in the rain. Or appear in the rain. I haven't really seen any sharks either since last night, so they may also be an afternoon or evening creature. Critter. They are critters that only appear at night. What? What hair? What hair? I went bald early. I started losing my hair in my late 20s. All right. I think that's where we're going to wrap up this episode of Animal Crossing. I might or might not be back with something else later. But thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Thank you for new followers. Thank you so much for the subscription. I greatly appreciate it. Like I said, be sure to check out everything on the YouTube side because that is the my main platform. All right. You take care as well, and I'll see you guys next time.